Morning.
Morning.
Martinelli news this morning. How pleased are you? Clearly he loves the club, but to get the deal done, and how much progress do you hope you'll see from him over the next 4.5 years?
Yeah, great news. Obviously, we want to build on all the talent and youth that we had in the squad, so it's great to see them happy and willing to commit to the club and what we want to do for the future. So he's a player with enormous potential that still has so many things to improve, but is already performing at a really high level.
Where's his biggest area of growth to come, do you think?
I think in all departments, to be fair, and when you ask him, he can develop physically, he can develop mentally, he can develop in terms of consistency, he can develop defensively, he can develop in the final third, in the spaces that he occupies. His numbers can be improved, and he's so willing. That's the best thing about Gabi.
Obviously, he's been key for you alongside Saka and Saliba, and we know that contract talks are ongoing with those two. Are you any further down the line, and how important is that just to get done and then you can kind of move on?
Part of the plan, obviously, is to extend the contracts of our biggest talents at the club and commit them for the future, and we are trying to do that. And we have started with Gabi, which is good news.
And the others?
And the others will be done whenever we can. We have to agree on that.
You don't see any problem with any of them, though, no?
I see everybody really happy, really willing to continue at the club, but obviously we have to meet everybody's expectations, and timing is key on that.
And just on to the game tomorrow, Thomas Partey, we know, came off and had that MRI scan. How's he, and will he be fit for tomorrow?
Let's see. That one is still a doubt. Let's see today how he comes in and he's able to train with the team or not, and we'll make the decision on that.
But at this stage, not ruled out, and it's not a serious injury?
It's not ruled out, and it's nothing very significant, but it was significant enough to get him out of the game, which for Thomas is a bit unusual, but hopefully he will be fine.
And Jorginho joined you on Tuesday. He said that the move came around quite quickly. He was quite surprised for him. When did you kind of target him, and how pleased are you to have him?
Many years ago,
I know,
to be fair.
This time.
We knew that in this market you have to adapt and you have to be flexible and you have to be ready for inconvenience. We had a big one, obviously, with the latest news on Mo's injuries, and we needed a player in that position. It's a player that I always admire, a great character, someone is going to bring leadership at quality in the position, and is going to help the team a lot.
So it happened that quickly? Was it almost a case of, Sunday evening, Monday?
Timing-wise, no, I don't think it was that late, but it's a player that has always been very close to our intentions to bring him in.
Okay, Becky, okay.
Is Emile Smith-Rowe available? Is he back?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, he's out. What was your reaction when you heard it was Sean Dyche that had been appointed the Everton manager?
Well, obviously they have tried to accommodate the right character in the circumstance that the club is. I think what Sean and the coaching staff did at Burnley speak for themselves. With the limited resources that they had, they got incredible results very consistently in this very tough league. I like a lot the character, his presence, and the clarity that he brings in his team. So hopefully after tomorrow, he will be a great fit for Everton.
Well, on the game tomorrow, it's sort of second from bottom versus top on paper, but going to Goodison, do you think mentally it'll be a real tough test tomorrow?
No, we have the experience in the last few years how tough it's been, and we didn't get the results that we wanted. When it's a new manager, the environment will change. A lot of things change during the week. So it's going to be a really tough test.
Mikel, thank you.
Thank you.
Ian from TalkSport.
Hi Mikel, how are you? Just tell us how happy you are with your January transfer business, bringing in Trossard, bringing in obviously Jorginho on the final day.
Yeah, a really tricky one, but I think at the end it's a really positive one. I think we had three main key areas of positions that we wanted to improve and fulfill. We've done it. With Leo, we bring a player that already knows the league, that already has been performing at a great level, that has the versatility that we needed and adds quality and goal threat in the squad, especially after the injury of Gabi. With Jakub, a young talent with incredible potential that is going to adapt really well to our way of playing. And we didn't have a backup centre back for the whole season. And then the last one with George, a player that speaks to himself. You look at his CV, his playing record, his quality. I think we made some really good decisions there. And as well, we have offloaded the squad with 3 players, Sambi, that needed time and games to develop the talent that he has. And I think in Palace we found the right club with the right coaching staff as well. So hopefully that will work out. And then Marquinhos, that needed minutes, and it's going to be a really tough but really good test for him to play in the league in a great club. And then with Cedric as well, that he was demanding minutes, and it was difficult to promise that to him. Is a player that we all loved, and it's been a difficult decision to let him go, but I think we have to respect as well his will to play.
You've done what you wanted now. In a sense, are there no excuses if you don't win the title from the position you're in, the players you've got in, the squad you now have?
If you want to put it that way, it's fine.
How would you put it?
Excuses?
Yeah, so
No.
I mean, I think every team has been on 50 points at this stage of the season, has gone on to win the league. So
No, what we have to do is train really well tomorrow and win, and play well to win. That's the only thing we can do, because we cannot play every play that we have in the squad. I think we have to pick 11 and then the substitutes. So
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to mention not necessarily just Chelsea, but in general, the amount that was spent in the January transfer window was unbelievable, considering the times that we're living in. Good for football or not good for football?
well, it's the context that we live in, you know, and we had in our side the possibility to do certain things that we didn't do in the summer, and we are always willing to improve the squad. I think the squad is still in a moment that we cannot waste any opportunity to evolve it in the way that, whether it is to give players minutes, whether it is to improve and give more depth to the squad. And I think every team tries to do the same, and that's why it's so competitive.
One last one actually on the game. I think it was 2 years ago, was it, that you were appointed ahead of the 0-0 draw with Arsenal at Goodison. How your team has come forward and the position you and the team are in now from that day.
Yeah, it's been a while, and a lot has happened since, and I think we are in a much better position than we were at the time. And but we haven't won there for the last few years, so that's the task tomorrow.
Mark at the back.
Just back on Jorginho, you spoke about him a few years ago. He also joined Man City when you were on the coaching staff there. What is it in particular, his particular qualities that you see that make him so good in that position?
His intelligence, his personality, his leadership skill, and then the way he understands our way of playing, and the qualities he has to implement that in football matches. And he's a player that will fit really well what we want to do.
You mentioned when you signed Trossard that the squad can absorb a player that doesn't necessarily fit with the signings you've been making in recent years, the young players. Is Jorginho a similar kind of example of that?
Yes, and then you have to adapt to the circumstances as well that we had, and obviously the injury of Mo, the significant injury of Mo, had to have a plan behind him that probably wasn't the case just before that injury happened, and we have adapted and we have improved the squad.
You mentioned Mo there and his injury, and it's expected that his contract will be extended soon. Is that how the club look after their players? It was similar with you when you got your injury, but you obviously were kept and looked after. Is that what you want to nurture here?
Our way of treating people, our way of living together, and what we expect from people is to give the maximum. And when it's the other way around and things become difficult, I think the club has to behave in the right way, and we have some really good examples, and we have to continue to do that.
And finally, the live section.
Hi Mikel. A successful transfer window, of course, brought in 3 players in key positions, and that's been a theme that's run through previous transfer windows. But have you always been able to get the players that you initially wanted, and what needs to change maybe to make sure Arsenal get their priority targets in every window going forwards?
I'm really happy with what we've done. For what you planned, or actually what you can do in this industry, normally it doesn't happen, so you have to mold and adapt, and we've done that. The most important thing is at the end the profile, the person, and the qualities that we bring to the squad make us better, and I have no doubt that we've done that.
and Sambi Lokonga's left on loan to get more regular game time. You've brought in a lot of young players in different positions, like Fabio Vieira in the summer, Kivior now. They're behind established players in their positions, and Lokonga's left off to get more minutes after failing to do that here. How do Kivior and Vieira, for instance, know that they're going to get the minutes they need to develop at such a crucial age in their career?
How do you know?
How are they going to get the minutes?
If they train really well and they play really well, I guarantee you that they will have the minutes. Because the other guys, they had the minutes. But to develop, sometimes you need to have them in a different position, different environment, and sometimes we have to mold that.